This video is to help you to understand the graphs that are part of problem set 2, particularly figure 2. This first slide has all the information that's given at the top of the chart. You'll see that it mentions the points and it gives you the coordinates of each point. You'll also see that it describes which curves are the production possibility frontier, the price lines, the terms of trade or trade possibility frontier, and also the CICs, which are equivalent to the demand curve in a supply and demand model. They're about what the consumers want in this situation. So the first thing I'd like to do is to bring your attention to the information about PPFs, production possibility frontiers. Each country has one. In this particular set of graphs, the production possibilities are curves, not straight lines, and we're told that price line A represents the autarky or pre or without trade relative price line for country A, and that is tangent to the PPF at point G. The price line is also a line whose slope gives us the opportunity cost. When you have an increasing cost of production possibility frontier, a curved production possibility frontier, the point of production with autarky is going to be where that line is tangent to the PPF. So this information is telling you the point of production and the point of consumption when there is no trade is going to be point G. That is autarky equilibrium. The slope of the line at that point is also the slope of the production possibility frontier at that point. Therefore, the absolute value of the slope of the price line at that point is the relative price of good X, in this case autos, in terms of good Y, in this case wheat. So this information tells us that at point G, if this country wants to produce one more auto, they're going to have to give up a third, 0.33 units of wheat to move to the next place on the production possibility frontier. This information tells us that for country B, autarky is going to be at point X, because that's where the relative price line is tangent to the production possibility frontier. At that point, the country is going to have an opportunity cost of 3. Every additional auto is going to cost this country 3 units of wheat that it can't produce. These 2 points are labeled in the graph, but the coordinates are also given back here in the information. So we can see here that at point G, the country A produces 5 autos and 18 wheat. At the autarky equilibrium for country B, which is at point X, country B produces 17 autos and 6 units of wheat. And we can see again graphically, and for A, 5 autos, 18 units of wheat. And for country B, it's got to be here, which is 17 autos and 6 units of wheat. The next thing is to know that when a country trades, the production possibility frontier is also going to be where they produce. Where on the production possibility they produce is going to be related to the line TT, the terms of trade line, or the production possibility frontier. Terms of trade represent the international relative price line. All of these are the same name for the line given in the graph labeled TT. The point of production when the country A participates in trade is going to be where that line is tangent. Visually, you can see that it touches the production possibility point Doesn't cut through it, just touches it at point K. Therefore, that's going to be your production point when country A participates in trade. And that information for the quantities are given back here, or you can read them off the graph. For country B, the TT line, and it has the same label because it is a line with the same slope because both countries have the same relative price when they participate in trade. And the point of tangency for that is going to be point Y. So with trade, country B produces 13 autos and 13 units of wheat. It's also called the trade possibility frontier because it tells us what are the options for country A and country B if they trade from this point of production. And what that means is it tells us that if they export some of these autos, they can move up the TT line to a point that's tangent to a CIC, which is a requirement for equilibrium, and therefore they will continue to export autos and import wheat till they can consume the combination at point V, which is 5 autos and 21 units of wheat. They've exported 7 autos. They've imported, because they've gone from 14 units of wheat produced to 21 units of wheat consumed, so they've imported 7 units of wheat. For country B, they're going to be producing at Y, as we said, but now they're going to export wheat and they're going to import autos because they can, and the other country is willing to trade at 1 for 1. So they will export 7 units of wheat and import 7 autos to get to a point also on the TT line, but tangent to a CIC curve, which is where they're going to consume with trade. So just for review, autarky, you need to have the price line, not the TT line. That tells you the point on the PPF, which was autarky equilibrium, where they produce and where they consume. They're self-sufficient, there's no trade. Those two, they produce it, they're going to consume it. With trade, you have a new price line, the TT line, the International Terms of Trade line, however you want to address it. And it has to have a point of tangency on the production possibility frontier to tell you where they produce. It also is going to be tangent to some CIC curve, and at that point, it's going to be where they consume when they participate in trade. The special effect of seeing it visually demonstrates that gains from trade are represented by the point of consumption being above the production possibility frontier. The country could never produce this combination, but by producing the good, they have a comparative advantage. And the reason I know it's a good they have a comparative advantage is because they're producing more of it, they're specializing in it than they did when they were at autarky. They can then export some of those and import the other good and get to a better above the PPF line for consumption.